I'm sorry for being insensitive the other day. That's what Eliza, who is usually sarcastic, said as she bowed her head. For once, it seemed like she was genuinely apologizing. Reflecting on her past behavior, I lowered my guard, softened by her unexpected apology. Little did I know that this would soon lead to a tense situation involving the police. My name is Lisa, and I've been living my dream as a daycare teacher, a career I've wanted since childhood. My husband, Jace, and I have been married for 3 years, enjoying a quiet life together. On a lazy day off, a call came in from my mother-in-law. Eliza, you should visit us soon. It's been 6 months since we last saw you. As soon as Jace heard his mother's voice, he looked annoyed. Despite their house being just a 30-minute drive away, Jace is never eager to visit. He's always kept his distance, frustrated by his mother's constant meddling. Ever since we got married, Eliza has made me the target of her snide remarks, as if blaming me for stealing her only son. Though I find her difficult to deal with, I have no choice but to visit when she calls. The last time we ignored her request, she showed up at our house unannounced. To avoid that kind of hassle, it's easier to go see her before she decides to take matters into her own hands. As expected, our first visit in 6 months was greeted with a barrage of sarcastic comments. Every time I'm there, I feel the stress build up, especially when she pesters me about not having children yet. You can't have kids because you're too busy working. A woman should stay home. Her words cut deep, but I tried to stay calm. Jace's father, Derek, a retired middle school teacher, used to have a demanding job that often kept him busy on weekends. Eliza, a stay-at-home mom, always boasted about raising Jace by herself. Jace was quick to respond to her latest jibe. We can't get by on my salary alone, he said firmly. Besides, Lisa's a daycare teacher because it's her dream. She's committed to seeing her senior class graduate this year. I tried to explain that we're not planning to have kids yet, but it only led to more insults. I was against this marriage from the start. What does a daycare teacher even contribute to society? You're just playing with kids all day, aren't you? Her words stung, but I forced a smile, knowing that reacting would only encourage her. Eliza was relentless once she started her insults. These days, mothers are terrible for leaving their kids so young. It's probably mostly single moms or poor families, she said with an exaggerated sigh. While I could tolerate her criticisms about my job or lack of children, I couldn't stay quiet when she began voicing prejudices about other parents. Look, parents are doing their best to balance work and raising kids. Not everyone is fortunate enough to stay home like you did. Please stop making such comments. Eliza's face twisted in anger. How dare you argue with me when you can't even have children? She snapped. As the tension between us rose, Derek finally intervened. Eliza, that's enough. Watch your words. I was surprised by Derek's defense. He's usually a quiet man who rarely speaks up during our visits. It seemed even he had had enough of Eliza's harshness. What's wrong with speaking the truth? Children left in daycare probably won't turn out well, Eliza continued, blatantly ignoring Derek's warning. She doubled down on her biased opinions, leaving me fuming, unable to tolerate any more. Jace began hurriedly gathering our things. That's it, Lisa, we're leaving. Eliza tried to stop him, but Jace was already heading out the door, not even sparing her a glance. He's become so distant since he got married, Eliza cried out, her voice trembling with hysteria. She blamed me, but this coldness from Jace was nothing new. Ever since he moved out, he'd started questioning Eliza's intrusive behavior. I was shocked when I first learned that she used to enter his apartment with her own key and even read his mail. What are you standing there for? Go get Jace right now, she ordered, insisting I call him back. Annoyed and fed up with being bossed around, I finally snapped. It's sad, isn't it? You were always around, yet you're disliked. You think it's love, but it's really just smothering. Thanks for showing me exactly how not to raise a child. Knowing we wouldn't be seeing each other for a while, I let out everything I'd been holding back, still seething over her awful remarks about daycare parents. It felt liberating to finally speak my mind. Eliza's face turned crimson with rage. You'll regret this. I'll kick a nasty woman like you out of my house, she screamed, slamming the front door. As I walked out, I realized that being kicked out might mean we wouldn't be called or visited for some time. I relayed the incident to Jace, who was waiting for me outside. Good for you, standing up to Mom. Maybe we'll have some peace now, Jace said, reassuringly. but Eliza's parting words still lingered in my mind. If we didn't hear from her, I figured we could skip visiting for Christmas. Just a few days later, though, Jace received a message from Eliza. She invited us to a pizza party, saying she regretted her words and wanted to apologize. When Jace asked what I thought, I hesitated. I couldn't quite picture Eliza actually apologizing. The olives on the pizza are from a friend's farm. They're supposed to be really fragrant and delicious. Let's just go. And if Mom starts up with her remarks again, we'll just take the pizza and leave, Jace suggested, making me laugh. It reminded me of how much Jace loves pizza. All right, let's go. I'm curious to see if Eliza will actually apologize. I agreed. So, on our next day off, we headed back to my in-laws' house. As soon as we arrived, Eliza surprised me by immediately apologizing. I'm sorry for the insensitive things I said the other day. Can you forgive me? Her sincere apology made her seem like a completely different person. After that, Eliza and I chatted and even shared a few laughs, something that had never happened since we got married. Lisa, take this seat. If you want seconds, just let me know, she said, serving us each several pieces of pizza. Apparently, she was a bit of a germaphobe, even when it came to family. The fresh pizza smelled amazing, its aroma wafting through the room. As we sat down to eat, I noticed Derek wasn't around. Eliza explained that he was working in the yard and told us to start without him. Guess we'll dig in then, Jace said, eagerly grabbing a slice and taking a big bite. The moment I picked up my slice, the delicious smell of the pizza hit me. Eliza urged us to eat it while it was hot, so I took a bite. The colorful veggies looked enticing, but as soon as I bit into it, something felt off. The bacon was juicy, and the veggies were fresh, but the olives and asparagus didn't have the fragrance I'd expected. I mumbled to myself, puzzled by the lack of aroma. Still, I didn't want to complain about food that had been prepared for us. Jace, do you taste or smell the olives on your pizza? I quietly asked, making sure Eliza couldn't hear. He nodded as if it were obvious. I wondered if maybe I was coming down with a cold, so I kept eating. About 20 minutes later, Derek came in from the yard and joined us at the table. Noticing my perplexed expression as I examined the pizza, he asked what was wrong. I looked at Derek and said, I was just wondering why I can't smell any olives or asparagus. From the kitchen, Eliza called out, it's there, trust me. As soon as I hear Eliza's laughter from the kitchen, Derek suddenly slams my plate off the table. Spit it out. How much did you eat? The plate crashes to the floor, shattering into pieces. Stunned by Derek's outburst, something entirely out of character for him, I stammer, I ate a few slices. Jace, alarmed, asks, what's happening? But Derek ignores him, urgently insisting that I spit it out. Meanwhile, Eliza remains in the kitchen, seemingly unfazed by Derek's shouting. Confused and starting to feel lightheaded, I rush to the bathroom. Once there, I barely make it to the toilet before vomiting uncontrollably. My body begins to tremble, drenched in sweat, and I collapse onto the cold bathroom floor. Call an ambulance now, Derek's voice booms, a mix of fear and anger. I can vaguely hear him yelling something at Eliza, but everything is starting to blur. The next thing I know, I'm waking up in a hospital bed. Jace is beside me, his face pale and eyes glistening with tears. You're going to be okay. We got you here just in time, he says, his voice trembling as he recounts the events. It turns out that the pizza I had eaten contained red spider lily, a highly poisonous plant. While the flower is known for its striking beauty, the bulb resembles olives, and the stem looks like asparagus, easily mistaken by someone unfamiliar with it. Derek, thinking quickly, had sent a slice of the pizza with Jace to be analyzed, and the results confirmed the presence of red spider lily. Is Jace okay? I ask, my voice shaky with concern, remembering that he'd been eating the pizza too. We had all the pizzas checked, Jace replies, but his hesitation makes my heart race. The only pizza that had red spider lily was yours, Lisa. A cold dread washes over me. Someone had deliberately put the poisonous plant in my pizza, and the only person who could have done it was Eliza, who had prepared the meal herself. The doctor, after hearing the situation, looks troubled and insists that the incident be reported to the health department. He also suggests contacting the police, believing Eliza's actions to be highly suspicious. Jace, though shaken, agrees but asks for some time to process everything. I can't think of her as my mother anymore. She's a criminal. What if Dad hadn't noticed in time? Jace's voice is filled with horror as we both realize how close I came to a fatal mistake. I recall stories of people dying from ingesting red spider lily, and the thought that I could have been one of them sends chills down my spine. First, I want to talk to Derek. I'm too scared to face Eliza right now. After leaving the hospital, we call Derek, who has left numerous messages, clearly worried. But what's even more chilling is the complete silence from Eliza. Are you okay? I repeatedly ask Eliza when we finally reach her, but her responses are cold and detached, only offering a vague excuse about making a mistake. I'm certain she did it on purpose. Even Derek, who's normally reserved, is visibly shaken. I've held back for too long, but I can't anymore. She's truly dangerous. Derek then reveals disturbing details about Eliza's past that leave both Jace and me in shock. It becomes clear that Eliza's apology was nothing but a ruse to lure me in, all with the intent to cause harm. Anger and disbelief surge within us, and we decide to confront Eliza directly, no longer willing to stay silent. When we arrived at the in-laws' house, Eliza sat there, looking drained and defeated. It was clear Derek had confronted her, but even so, she showed no remorse or concern when she saw me. I never expected Derek to figure it out. I was just trying to get rid of you, you audacious woman, she said coldly. Jace, unable to hold back any longer, snapped at her. Are you serious? You're nothing but a criminal. Eliza flinched at being called a criminal by her own son. What are you talking about? I did it for Jace's sake. If he stays with you, he'll never have the children he deserves. I'll find him a better partner, so just leave. Her lack of remorse for poisoning me with red spider lily was chilling. So you deliberately mixed red spider lily into my food? You wanted to kill me? This was all planned? Yes, I did it on purpose. The plant grows nearby. It was easy to get. It's just a shame you didn't eat more. You might have done more than just throw up. Furious, Jace lunged at Eliza, but I quickly stepped in to hold him back. I then pulled out a voice recorder from my chest pocket. Eliza, you just admitted to intentionally trying to harm me, and it's all on this recorder. I'll be filing a report with the police. Eliza's face drained of color at the mention of the police. What? You'd send your own family member to prison? Yes, I said firmly, with both Derek and Jace backing me up. Besides, you've done this before. To Derek, I then revealed what Derek had confided in me. There had been a massive argument between them once, over something trivial. The next day, Derek noticed that the pizza she'd made had no smell of olives. Being cautious about food, he instantly suspected something was wrong and remembered the red spider lily. He faked a stomachache and avoided eating the pizza. After Eliza went to bed, he checked the trash and found remnants of the plant, confirming his suspicions. Because of his past experience, he knew immediately to tell me to spit out the food. I explained, I could handle it if it were just me, but I can't allow anyone to harm someone important to my son. We're getting divorced, Derek said, his voice resolute. He had always valued Eliza's support, especially in raising Jace, and divorce wasn't a decision he took lightly. But after this, he couldn't continue living with her. Eliza, who had never imagined divorce as a possibility, was left speechless. How am I supposed to live now? She asked, panic creeping into her voice. I'll give you this house, Derek replied. We have some savings, they'll serve as your retirement fund once we divide the assets. Derek spoke about the divorce with a calm finality, as if he'd already thought it through. Eliza, stunned, could barely get a word in. While they discussed the details of the divorce, Jace and I decided to leave. We're going to the police station now, I told Eliza. Please cooperate when the investigation starts. Without another word, we headed straight to the police station, where the damage report was filed. An investigation into Eliza's actions would soon follow. In the days that followed, Eliza began calling us almost daily, her voice filled with desperation. Please, withdraw the report, she begged, her exhaustion palpable. Derek soon finalized the divorce and moved out. With the police inquiries and Jace's departure, nasty rumors about Eliza began circulating in the neighborhood. Despite her pleas for help, I felt no sympathy. I couldn't endure any more of her persistent calls. Even if I changed my number, nothing would stop her from showing up at our door. Tired of dealing with this mess, I finally said, fine, I'll retract the damage report, but you are never to show your face to us again. Even when we have a child, you will never meet them. If you come near us, I'll go straight to the police." This seemed to hit Eliza hard, especially since she had been so eager for a grandchild. However, she must have realized that avoiding a criminal record was more important. In the end, Eliza agreed to pay me a settlement, so I withdrew the report. The money likely came from the property settlement she received during her divorce from Derek, meaning her savings must have taken a serious hit. I heard from Derek that Eliza couldn't handle the neighborhood gossip anymore and eventually sold her house to move to a cheaper rental in Philadelphia. Apparently, she's been calling Derek, begging him to take her back, but he made it clear that it's never going to happen. From here on out, it seems Eliza is destined for a lonely life. As for Derek, he moved closer to our home. I've come to really appreciate Derek, someone I know I can count on. I'm confident that when we have children in the future, Derek will be there to help protect and love them.